Hey, we don't have the original. Would a scanned document do? Can you do your job? Well, of course. In fact, a lot of cases these days don't have originals. You think about the times of fax machines and inks and quill pens. We now have scans, we have PDF files, we have an iPhone right here, which takes a better photograph than a lot of scanners on the market. So if you have a case and you can't find the original, don't give up hope. There's still a chance that an expert, a forensic document examiner, can solve your puzzle as long as you have a high resolution scan. Now, a scan or a low resolution scan or low photocopy can still be used in court, but it's the best evidence law. It means that the court will allow you to use the best evidence possible, but if that best evidence is not very good, it may not win your narrative. For example, if you find a shoe that's been left in the rain for 2 months, that won't have the same kind of evidence or DNA evidence than a shoe that was caught from a fleeing burglar, right? So it's the same evidence, but there's degradation. So to me, scanning is one step removed from a live photograph or from an actual document under a microscope. But even under a microscope, I'm going to take pictures under a microscope using a camera, and then that evidence that I took with my own eyes is going to end up in court as an exhibit. But I'm looking at the original through a microscope. So that's the ideal. That's the gold standard, as one attorney told me recently. But we just don't always get the gold standard because we are human beings. We live in a world that's all digital. We live in a world where we're dealing with somebody that wrote a will in 1978 and we don't have that many samples of his handwriting. We may not even have a sample of the document or the contract or the prenuptial agreement from 1987, right? You do the best evidence possible. So if you can get a scan, that'd be great. If you have the original, protect it at all costs. Don't overnight it. Make sure that somebody like myself comes to you and takes pictures of it. And then you want to keep that original safe. And then I would recommend, if you can, if you have an original or a really, really pretty scan or photocopy, go buy an Epson scanner that does 24 to 4,800 dots per inch, and then send that to the forensic examiner of your choice. If you hire one of our people, we'll say, hey, you just upload it to Google Drive. We want to see a high resolution scan because we want to be able to zoom in, just like on this camera, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. And we want to see ink. We don't want to see pixels. So the problem with scans are, what level of scan is it? What quality of scan? And if someone was, like the DMV, maybe they'll say, okay, we'll scan that document at the City Hall or DMV. If their scanner is 100 dots per inch, that's just a hair better than a internet photograph. Internet photographs are 72 dots per inch. So you think about dots per inch, what that means is every dot is, how many dots can fit in a square inch. And, if you have 2 dots per square inch, let's say you have 4 dots per square inch, that means it's just 4 dots, right? So inch, 4 dots, and then 72 dots, 144 dots. What if you had 2,400 dots per square inch? That means that's really tiny dots. Most people have never looked at the cover of a book or color of a photograph, like a poster, under a microscope. Books are beautiful, New York Times bestselling books. But if you look at that cover under a microscope, it is literally only 300 dots per inch. At least that, if I recall correctly, last time I was at my printer, in New Delhi, the Heidelberg printer was like $1 million machine, but it's still only 300 dots per inch, and they use 4-color press. And so you basically have lots of small square dots, but because of the way the human processes information, you can't tell it's dots. But under a microscope, and when you enlarge it, which is what you have to do with a handwritten will, question, handwritten document, you need to have as many pixels as possible so we can see the difference between the ink, the pen lifts, the stop, starts. All that movement of the pen is the unconscious mind leaving evidence on the page. And that is what we're looking for to identify a human being versus a different human being or versus a machine, which of course would not be a wet ink. So the answer is, I forgot the question, but the answer is yes, you can solve a case with a scanner. However, it's always better to have the best possible scan, best possible photocopy or original if possible.